Blake McMeans came to Bullard East on his promise tour to talk to people and teens about not drinking and driving. He moved us with his story. Blake was drinking one night and thought he could drive home, which was a bad idea. He got in a car wreck and never broke a bone in his body, but he hit the back of his head and it paralyzed him basically everywhere. He had to relearn how to do everything, how to walk, how to swallow, everything. Drinking and driving not only impacts your life, but it impacts the people around you as well. Blake McMeans said himself, "If you are even thinking about driving drunk, don't do it. It isn't worth it. Stay away from alcohol completely." I've always loved how Bullard East comes together when we need to. This week was a special week here at BE. It was Disability Awareness Week. We came together to shine light on what most of us don't think about very often. Each day, BE had picked a disability and we wore a color for that disability. Monday was blue for autism, Tuesday was green for TBI, Wednesday was gray for dyslexia, Thursday was orange for ADHD, and today is Friday, and it's purple for epilepsy.
The Charger Report.
Next up is William with electoral dysfunction.
Now let's boil down those colors to just red and blue. This is electoral dysfunction.
Wrong?
I think they're wrong 100%. Sometimes they're wrong. They were wrong. Sometimes they're wrong. It's the New York Times. They're always wrong. Well, I would say my wife tells me I'm wrong all the time.
President Trump gave his first address to Congress last Tuesday, or at least I think it was him. He was no doubt on his best behavior during the speech, ditching his trademark doom and gloom for a bit of national pride, big promises, and heartstring tugging. This was the unification speech that Inauguration Day was sorely missing, but was it effective? Well, it was definitely calculated, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Initial response was as positive as the White House could hope for, keeping Trump on target despite his lack of details. He was praised for his composure, compassion, statesman-like Candace, and just generally being able to read the teleprompter correctly. It seemed like the man yelling on our Twitter feeds was finally filling into his role as President of the United States. Well, for a few days at least. Early Saturday morning, or late Friday night, depending on your sleeping habits, President Trump got tweeting again. This time, his fury was directed towards former President Obama, accusing him of wiretapping Trump Tower during the last few months of the election. As usual with Mr. President's unmonitored Twitter access, no proof was provided to back up the claims. Of course, this new silliness has splashed mud all over Trump's new congressional speech glow, and it has been widely debunked by a variety of sources, namely FBI Director James Comey and former head of the National Intelligence Agency, James Clapper. But as we know, the president's early morning rants are a far more trusted source. With this major scandal finally uncovered, President Trump promptly shifted his focus onto the more pressing issues, setting the record straight over Arnold Schwarzenegger's recent departure from The Apprentice, claiming it wasn't just a resignation, but in fact a firing for his bad, and in parentheses, pathetic ratings. Sad end to a great show, he concluded. I'm hoping he's talking about The Apprentice and not the country.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
The hotly contested race for DNC chairman came to a close recently, with former Obama Labor Secretary Tom Perez taking the seat. This can be seen as another loss for the more progressive and growingly discontent left of the Democratic Party, with the Bernie Sanders-backed Minnesota Rep. Keith Ellison assigned simply to the deputy chair. This is like being invited to a dinner party only to find your name at the kids' table. With this news, it's fair to say what the DNC actually stands for: does not change. With Perez's connections to former President Obama and his name on Hillary Clinton's now worthless short list of potential vice presidents, there's really no surprise here. The same people who thought that the country actually wanted Hillary Clinton as their next president are obviously still pulling the strings, much to the displeasure of those looking to smash the status quo. Senator Sanders himself said that it is imperative that Tom understands that the same old is not working. Perez himself has been firing at Trump nonstop since his placement, calling him not only the potential worst president in U.S. history, but also himself his worst nightmare. The DNC is hoping for a rebound next election, but it seems like they may already be jumping off the same broken foot. Now we're going to take you to court. The basketball court, that is. Here comes the lob, Matt and Jarrett.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Nice pass, William. It was good to see Trump be presidential for at least an evening.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Matthew. And this is your Red Zone Sports Report.
Baseball season is right around the corner. The team has been preparing all through the off-season with many workouts and extra practices. The team took on Butler last Saturday at noon. It was good for them to get into the flow of the live game and to see where they were at. There were many good things during the game, but overall the Chargers still have a lot of work to do. I asked senior baseball player Zach Jones on if he was excited for the upcoming season, and he responded with, "Yeah." When asked to elaborate, he said, "It should be fun." You could really feel the excitement pouring out of him. In an attempt to get a more exciting interview, I interviewed Bullet East baseball fan, senior Brooke Stivers, if she would be attending a lot of the games. She stated, "Yes, this is my favorite time of the year to get out and support my friends on the team." Brooke continued to tell me how she followed the baseball team all through the state semifinal last year in hopes that they get back to Lexington. The baseball team will have their first home opener on March 16th at home against Holy Cross. Come out and show your support.
Oh, yeah!
The Bullet East baseball team has been very busy during their off season. All of their hard work is meant to prepare the team one game further than last year for a state championship trophy. The Chargers will rely on a lot of sophomores and juniors, or young guys, as Coach Bowles likes to say. However, their senior class is very strong this year. Many of them have or will commit to play baseball in college. These seniors include Mitchell Langley, Michael Lobred, Jake Reese, Jared Reardon, and Matthew Bryant. Jake and Mitchell have committed to Spalding University. Michael has committed to the University of the Cumberlands. Matthew is committed to Union College, and Jared is still considering his offers. A couple of these guys had some comments on committing. Michael said, "I was very humbled to continue playing baseball in college. It made me realize how blessed and thankful I really am." Jake had this to say, "I strive on getting better each day, not only for myself, but also for my teammates, because as a senior, I am leading by example, and the young guys look up to me." All of these guys have shown great effort and hard work this season in conditioning, practice, and throughout their careers, as well as the rest of the baseball players. The entire Bullet East coaching staff does a great job with each of their players, not only as ball players, but as young men. Each of these guys deserves the honor of getting to play in college. All of the senior players will be deeply missed after the season is over. Congratulations to the seniors who will or already have committed, and best of luck to the Chargers this season.
All ready for this?
Got him!
The Lady Chargers basketball team went to war this past weekend against the number 1 ranked Butler Bears. The top 25 matchup was set to be an exciting one in the 6th Region Championship. The Lady Chargers got off to a slow start, getting down 18-8 at the end of the first quarter. The second quarter was much different as the Lady Chargers began to go on a run, and they cut the score to 22-18 at halftime. The Chargers would go into the third and fourth quarters battling to keep their terrific season alive, coming within 1 point of Butler, but a few costly turnovers, questionable calls, and missed rebounds would ultimately end the Lady Chargers season. Butler would go on to take the 6th Region Championship by a score of 50-42. The Lady Chargers had an amazing season, and nobody can say they didn't leave it all out on the court. They showed tremendous fight and toughness, and Charger Nation couldn't be more happier.
Transition time, transition time.
The Bullet East baseball team had a team outing at Paintball Asylum on Saturday, February 11th. Many of the seniors helped organize the event, and everyone who participated had a blast. A group of about 20 people made up of baseball players and friends of baseball players participated. The paintball lasted from around 3 to 7, and afterwards the whole crew made a pit stop at Rallies for some much-needed grub. I got the opinions of some of those involved. Senior baseball player Alex Lucas said, "Shooting my friends was fun. I'm just glad he didn't shoot at me with a real gun." He also had this to comment. "Matthew Bryant shot 2 paintballs the whole time we were there. Alex, you know this is false. I used all the 500 paintballs they gave me, and I wasn't going over." Some of the best moments were falling down the steps, getting muddy, and getting shot because it didn't hurt for very long. I'm glad the baseball squad did this, and I'm glad I was a part of it. Hopefully there will be more of these things to come in the future.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Well, that's a wrap for the Red Zone Sports Report.
Now to Plugged In.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Welcome to Plugged In.
How are you going to be revolutionary if you're such a traditionalist? You held onto your past, but jazz is about the future. La La Land came in onto this year only to be recognized at the Oscar in many different lights. The world apparently loved the movie and raved about it and is still raving about it. Emma Stone won the Best Actress award. She deserved it too. If you watch the musical, she goes above and beyond on her acting role. I asked Alyssa Hunn how she felt about the movie, and she said, "It was great. I really loved Emma Stone in the leading role." This story was brought to you by Brooke Hurley.
Over the years, the reasons for movies being banned have been pretty crazy, such as the Simpsons movie banned in Burma because they did not allow the color yellow. China also banned the recent Ghostbusters movie because they don't allow movies with supernatural themes, and The Hunger Games was banned in Vietnam for too much death. More recently, however, Beauty and the Beast has stirred up some controversy in Russia for one of the characters, LeFou, who has, according to the director Becn, a gay moment. And in Russia, homosexuality is not a crime, but it's still illegal to have elements of propaganda in media.
Oh, wow.
Last year, Google had trouble working with ISPs on how they could give people gigabit fiber internet. This, along with obvious costs of the new infrastructure, put a lot of strain on Google and slowed down the speed of gigabit internet. Now, Google has a new way of getting around this. WebPass is Google's new way of giving consumers gigabit internet wirelessly. This new technology will give average consumers the ability to have high-speed internet. Google has already put fiber in 8 cities and was thinking about putting it in the Louisville area. And this development of WebPass will only speed up this process and give us high-speed internet we all deserve.
Awesome!
A lot is going on around the Star Wars saga right now. This year is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. A special celebration will be held from April 13th to the 17th at the Orange County Convention Center in California. Special edition posters have been released showing many of the Star Wars from the original trilogy, the prequels, and The Force Awakens. However, Rogue One characters are left off the posters, probably because they are part of a spin-off movie that don't affect the overall plot of Star Wars. It still would have been cool if they would have included it, though. For the anniversary, it is rumored that original cuts of Star Wars A New Hope might be released to the public. Fans have been waiting on these for years, seeing growing up with Star Wars in the 1970s and 1980s reminisce about. Buldy's teacher and Star Wars fanatic Mr. Tackett had this to say regarding the original cuts. "I'm all for the original cuts of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi to be released, but that's not me saying that I don't like the special editions, because I do. There were times when Lucas may have went a little too far with his edits to the original films, though, but there were a lot of good that came from them as well. The bad would be the whole Han versus Greedo shooting incident. Everybody knows Han shot first, and the edit to that scene just made it look fake. There's also more Star Wars news to come. At the D23 Expo in July, the Han Solo movie's official title will be announced. These special Disney Expos are held every other year in California. News about Star Wars Land for Disney World and Disneyland will be announced, as will future movie news. Star Wars obviously isn't done making noise, and fans can't wait to see what's next in store. This story was brought to you by Matthew Bryant. Now back to Will and Brooke.
A few moments later.
Thank you all for watching this week's episode of the Charger Report. We hope you were informed and entertained. I've been William.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jared.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Garrett.
Go
Chargers!